Can you tell me how you guys manage the communication between the committee and the Pac-12, and who are the Pac-12 guys on the committee?
The members of the selection committee that track the Pac-12 conference are Tom Osborne and Mike Gould. And we'll speak with them 3 times during the season, which is the same as what the other conferences do. And we're talking about injuries and personnel issues and giving them our view of how our teams are trending and stacking and answer whatever questions they have.
And when was the last time you spoke with them?
We spoke to them a few weeks ago, I think right before their first selection, and we'll speak to them again this week.
Larry, if you don't mind, if I could mine a little of the details with the calls you're having with the playoff committee folks. You're on it. Is it you and maybe some of the guys
My
on your
team,
staff?
yeah. I've got a team that is following football. So Jamie Zininovich, Woody Dixon from my office, Woody oversees football for us, and some of our media staff that's tracking, Dave Hirsch, that tracks the stats and gives them all the information they need.
And now I clearly understand that you're not in their meetings, but as far as you know, are the other conferences, it's the other 4 power conferences, however, whatever term you want to use?
No, it's actually all 10. It's all 10
Okay.
of the FBS conferences.
Okay.
And then the independents, are tracked as well.
Do you know if they're handling the calls similarly? In other words, where there's guidelines put upon what
Absolutely.
you can do?
Yes, so I think the committee's given instructions about what they should say to the conferences about how the calls should be structured.
Okay.
What the agenda is. And in fact, we've had Bill Hancock send out guidance to the 10 conferences about what's appropriate communication, what's not appropriate communication with committee members. So absolutely, want it to be an even playing field, keep anyone out of a lobbying situation, and have the communications with the committee ring-fenced around a process.
As informational
Correct.
as possible. Okay.
Correct.
Can you give an example of appropriate and inappropriate from those guidelines?
Calling a committee, just calling a committee member, talking about how wonderful your teams are. I mean, that's the kind of thing that shouldn't happen. And not just from conference offices, but we instruct our athletics directors. They shouldn't be doing that either.
I was wondering, I know, you guys are going to replace your coordinator officials after the season. How do you feel like the interim guy is doing right now? And, what's the timeline on maybe, is it just right at the end of the season you start the search, or have you begun the search?
Yeah, well, it's been pretty seamless. The first part of your question, pretty seamless, the transition. The reason is we elevated one of our position supervisors, the supervisor that was overseeing all of our instant replay crew. Jim Blackwood is now the interim coordinator. We have 7 position supervisors that were working under Tony Correnti, very seasoned, experienced group, so one of them got elevated. So, it's the same team working together, and Jim's a very experienced guy, former NFL referee, he was former head of the WAC officiating program. So that part going well. We are obviously getting feedback and, from our athletics departments, coaches, officials, but we're not formally starting a process, putting together, new spec for what we're looking for, and interviewing anyone. That won't start till after the season's over.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot.